the chair would say the following thing. Are there any points or motions on the floor? Sweden, to what point do you rise?
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. Sweden motions to enter voting block.
That motion is in order. At the chair's discretion, that's the only motion that we're going to take. All those in favor of going into voting block, please signify yes or no or more by simultaneously. This motion clearly passes. We are now in voting block. Now, delegates, I want to remind you that when we're in voting block, right, you should not leave the room unless there's an absolute emergency. You should avoid chatting in any way whatsoever. There will be no crisis updates at this point, so we're not going to do anything like that. When the committee's meeting, one of the things that delegates could vote for is what's called a 2-4-2 against, which would mean that somebody would motion to vote on a particular draft resolution. A 2-4-2 against means that 2 delegates would speak in favor of it and 2 delegates would speak against it. In this case, what we're going to do, one of the delegates is going to make a motion that's going to recognize the fact that we only have 3 delegates here. And so once we're in voting block, the chair would say, are there any points or motions on the floor? Sweden, to what motion do you rise?
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. Sweden motions for a 1 for 1 against on the HOSMAD paper.
That motion is in order. And at this point, at the chair's discretion, this will be the only motion we're going to entertain right now. Is there a delegate who wants to speak? Did you have a point, Sweden? I noticed that your hand is up.
I'm sorry, that was my mistake.
Okay.
I will be lowering my hand.
No problem. Is there any delegate who would like to speak in favor of working draft resolution? We're going to call this draft resolution 1.1, formerly HOSMAD. Any delegates who wish to speak in favor? Sweden, thank you. Are there any delegates who wish to speak against HOSMAD or draft resolution 1.1, Russia? Okay. Delegates, you'll each be recognized for 30 seconds. Let me set the timer. Give me 1 second. As I'm playing the role of both. Hold on. I'm going to pause this. Thank you very much. Delegate from Sweden, you're recognized for 30 seconds to speak in favor of the working paper draft resolution 1.1.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. This paper deals with a variety of issues, including incentivizing people to denuclearize, educating the population on the benefits of denuclearization, and setting realistic and achievable goals. A lot of other working papers did not highlight these facts, and this is something that makes us unique, as it's a well-rounded approach to address a well-rounded issue that has been going on for decades. We hope that you vote in favor of this paper for many of the incentives and amazing details that it provides. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Russia, you're recognized to speak for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow delegates. Russia believes that this is once again a horrendous use to infringe upon the sovereignty of other nations, incentivize, make education things. All of these things should be at a country's own accord. Russia hopes that you'll join us in just voting against this horrible paper in hopes to keep the sovereignty of other nations and what they want to do with their nuclear disarmaments. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. At this point, we will now be voting on a resolution, draft resolution 1.1. Are there any points or motions on the floor?
Kind of inquiry?
Yes.
Well, actually, yeah. Are we not just supposed to go straight into voting after 1 for, 1 against?
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates can motion to accept the motion by the resolution by acclamation if they want.
Thank you, Chair.
With that, are there any points or motions on the floor? Russia? You're recognized to speak.
Thank you, Chair. I unfortunately can't unraise my hand at the moment. Russia votes in to vote on draft resolution 1.1 by acclamation.
And I'm assuming that you mean that Russia moves to vote by acclamation.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
There we go. That motion is ordered. Are there any objections? Seeing none, draft resolution 1.1 now becomes resolution 1.1. At that point, in a conference, you can applaud when the draft resolution passes. Since we're in Zoom, there you go. You can see that the staff is doing what they're doing. Instead of snapping or doing anything like that, they are using the reaction button. I'll do that on mine as well, just to make a point. So you can, that's our version of snapping in a virtual conference. Now I know this wasn't the smoothest of voting blocks, and the chairs will provide you more guidance than we did. We're trying to get these videos up and loaded up before the conference. We will be arranging meetings with each of the schools. The tech representatives will be meeting with each of the schools. So if you have any questions, either procedural or technical, we'll be able to answer those questions to the best of our ability so that on the day of the conference, we're ready to go. I hope this was helpful for everybody who is in the European Commission. And then delegates, staff, if you would turn your videos back on. There we go. Secretary General, otherwise known as Sweden. Would you like to add anything?
Yes. Again, guys, we're having so much fun doing these videos, and I hope you're having as much fun watching these videos. Again, we understand like the seriousness of committees, but also don't forget to just breathe and relax. You are at home. This is a different experience. Just take in and enjoy the experience. I do have, however, notes on some of things I would like to add. First of all, in regards to authors panels, the chairs will be, and we will inform the chairs, to give you guys 5 minutes to go in unmods. If you've watched the previous videos, you will know what that means. That means going into Discord, into unmod rooms, and discuss between yourself, just like you would in a normal conference. Who's going to speak first, who's going to speak last, and how many minutes each. Obviously, we hope that you promote diplomacy so everyone would have the same amount of time to fairly say what they had. Please also do not forget to leave time for questions. And then, yeah, so again, we understand that this video is specifically addressed for the European Commission. And obviously the topic we did, which we did not introduce, sorry, was nuclear disarmament. I guess that's how you say it. So, and again, the reason we weren't as prepared is because this was a topic that we did last semester, and we just had to refresh our brains. So again, we understand that's the difference, and we don't want to freak you guys out. You're not addressing nuclear war in any way or nuclear elimination. You are addressing immigration. And then I think the last thing is a 1 for 1 against, as demonstrated by one of our amazing delegates who happened to also be Russia and Afghanistan. Please, we encourage you, for the sake of diplomacy, do not speak against your paper. That just doesn't look great for the chairs. Don't use it as an opportunity to speak against your paper, because that wouldn't necessarily count in your favor if you speak against your paper. That beautifully demonstrated by Shannon. Thank you very much. And yeah, so obviously, as Phil was saying, the timeline will be up as well next to the working papers. You are provided the email links on your background guides, on our website, in our emails. It's very easy to access the email addresses that we will be sending out, where you can email your working papers. And also reiterating, please, 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 this commission, as a specialized body, will not be doing committee directives. It will have a resolution at the end, and the purpose of the crisis updates is to push you in the right direction in your resolutions. Again, we will not be doing any form of committee directives or personal directives. Thank you.
So thank you for taking the time to watch these videos. Please take notes so that when we do come to visit your class, you'll have a lot of questions, pepper us with questions, and we will be sending our tech committee and the chairs, if we can, to answer all your questions. One of the things that we realize is that doing a virtual conference, sort of like we're breaking new ground, and we're so glad that you're joining us as we experiment in this new way of holding Model United Nations conferences. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch these videos and share the day with us, okay? Take care.